Hi there, and welcome to Art from the Cottage. So today I'm going to paint a landscape for you with trees and little cottage hopefully. And I've prepared my canvas ready for you. You'll see at the bottom I've highlighted it a little bit so that it stands out to you. You'll see that I've got some texture. Can see that, and how I've done that, it's got to be bone dry. So if you're going to do a painting with texture, you need to really do it do the texture the day before so that it can dry. And for this I used a filler paste. This is an exterior filler, but you can use artist texture paste if you like, or you can use an interior filler paste. This is what decorators use, and it dries really hard and it's perfect. And you just put it on with a palette knife, and you just put it where you want it and how you want it to look. So you just put lines in it and make it bobbly and knobbly, and this is what it looks like. This is one that I did. I don't know if you can see that really well. And this is what it will look like when it's really, really dry on the canvas or paper. So that's that. These are some of the brushes that I'm going to use today. And as usual, I've got my ordinary everyday household painter's brushes, and I've got these brushes which are fan brushes, 2 fan brushes, and they're hog's hair brushes, those. I use a variety of brushes. I use some more household brushes, and I've got about 4 of those. Plus palette knives. Oh, there's another brush. People always... Wait a minute. There. Sorry. People always ask about my brushes as if it's, I'm using very special things. I'm not. I don't use special brushes. These fan brushes are about as special as it gets. The colours that I'm using... Again, I just mentioned everybody asks about my colours. I mix every single colour that goes onto a painting. So all I can do is tell you roughly what I use, like say yellow and black or yellow and blue, or the colours that I mixed with a bit of white and a bit of cream. That's about it. I can't tell you any measurements. It's not an exact science. This is art. This is what looks right, what makes you think that it's right, what makes you think that it's it's right for that painting. There's no exact colours. So especially in my work, because my work is impressionist, and it's not realism. So with that said, I use Cerulean blue, Ultramarine blue, raw Sienna, burnt umber, yellow, black, white, cream. I think that's probably about it. And if I use yellow, I mix it. I'll mix the yellow, make a pale yellow or a dark yellow or an orangey yellow or whatever. But I'll... So let's get on with the painting now. I'm going to put colour on at the moment, and I'm going to do it in layers. I'll show you, in bands rather, I should say. So I know that I'm going to want a pale yellow along here. So I'm going to put it in now. And I've just mixed a yellow with some cream and some white. And of course I make my own cream from white with a little bit of yellow in it. So that's that. Now I have to come back to that, obviously. Right, so I know I want a band of yellow there, and that is for a specific reason. I want the plants to show up there. So I put that in. I'm going to have a band of green, and I'm going to mix the green and I've used yellow, ultramarine blue, cerulean blue and black for this green. Hope it shows up for you. A little bit more black in there. I want a nice olivey type of green. So as you can see, as I go, if it's not the right colour, I mix it on the canvas. Doesn't have to be mixed, not for me anyway. This is the way I work. I will mix on the canvas. Yeah, I like that effect. So there I've got a very, very dark green. I also want a dark green down here. So I'll mix a bit more. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Beautiful. Very dark green here. And I want it, you see I'm putting it in randomly on the grass part where the plants are. There. I'm just lobbing it in. I'm not mixing it. There's all colours in there. There's black, and you can see the blue. You can see the actual colours and the green and what have you. Right, so far so good. May come down a tad with that green. And again, don't have a straight line. It's not very much straight in nature, actually. Right, I'm liking that. So now I'm going to start working on the sky. I'll just let this dry a little bit, and I want to put a few colours in the sky. Let's have a look. What do I want in the sky? Well, I've already got some nice brown. I might put a bit more to just emphasise that dark spot. I'm using the, there, liking that. I want it dramatic. I always have to be, have it dramatic, of course, usually. I've used burnt umber with black on there. And I wonder what it'd be like if I had just a little touch of the cerulean blue. One corner. There. That's rather nice. I have to keep stepping back and looking at what you're seeing. Let's have a look. See, do that. Just move the camera a little bit. Right, I'm liking that. I've got my bit of brown. A little bit of ultramarine there. Right, nice, 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 nice. Now, what do I want on the horizon? I think I'll probably have, might go for the pale yellow again. So, pale yellow. So, very, very pale yellow. It's not even yellow really. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be the yellow in it. So I'm just going to have that on the horizon. Now, I like that because I made that with, let me look, yeah. I made that with raw sienna and white. I was going to use a yellow that I've mixed, but I quite like that, so I'll stick with it. Raw sienna and white. It's funny old colour. It's I can't describe it really. It is a creamy yellow with just a hint of the green, because of course I'm going over that green and it's going into the yellow. But anyway, I like it. Right, drama. I might just dip my brush in the white and go in there. Go in like this and over the yellow, but leaves the yellow exposed. How's it looking? You tell me. Let me look. Yes. Oh, nice. Nice. Okay. See, I'm leaving yellow too. And that could act as a bit of cloud there. Couldn't it? I'm going to paint trees across there, you see. Right. Let's let that dry. I'll just wipe off my brushes. I very rarely wash them. Well, I wash them after each session, obviously, but when I'm painting, I don't wash them. I don't want a load of water and wet, paint, really wet, sloppy paint. I want my paint is always creamy and thick, all of it. So I'll just let that dry and I'll come right back to you. So I've decided that the yellow here wasn't yellow enough. When it dried, it was didn't look how I wanted it to look. So this is what we do, just go over it again with a darker yellow. Nice dark yellow. Just whack that in there. Yeah, this is what I want. And we'll see if that's not right. If that's not yellow enough, we can... Remember, don't be precise, don't have lines. Look, I'm deliberately, making it sort of a bit jagged. There. Okay. Happy with that. So, might put it. I can always come back to that. There, that's nice. Always come back to it. I think I'll work on the sky. So, I've got my underlayer, if you like, of blues. And I've also put in this dark cloud here and this darker blue here. So obviously I don't want to cover them completely, but I do want to put my cloud in. So let's start, see what happens. Start here. I'm going to go over it slightly. Like this. Now, we're going to have a dramatic sky this time. The last one was a simple sky. And, but this time, you know, there's going to be a lot of cloud layers in this one. So, you see I'm using my big brush for this. That's good. So I'm putting in some cloud detail, and I've had to speed the camera up a little bit because of time restraints, really. So I'm starting to put in cloud, and then you'll probably see that I change that a little bit here and there. I put it in and I take it out because I don't like it. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, working on the sky all the time. And I decided I didn't like the top right hand side, so I've sort of taken a little bit of that out. And what you do is you take a damp cloth or a paper towel or something, and you, if you want to change it, you do it while the paint is wet. You do it straight away, in other words, really. And you don't take it off completely. You always leave a little bit of the, you know, the under layers of painting. Leave those there. They all add to the painting. I'm taking some bits of the painting out with a damp cloth because I don't like the confirmation. You know, you've got to like the actual confirmation of the painting, and I don't like this, so we can just take it out, there's no problem. I've just added a little bit more of the cerulean blue because, you know, I took out a bit too much. I'm not liking the actual shapes at the moment, but you know, that's the way it goes. You have to just um, just go with the flow. I've said before, oh, in my paintings, um, people think you put paint on and that's it. No, it's not. You put it on, you take it off. You don't like it, you paint over it. You until you like it, and that is the way it goes. And that's the way a painter works, really. So I'm starting to put in the trees here, and I'm putting in the trees that are going to be in the background, and they're going to look as if they're in the far distance. So I want them fairly pale. I don't want them to be dark. I want them to be as pale as possible. And sometimes I put them in like that, and then I go over them with a little bit of water and dab with a rag, so that they just look pale. Yeah, so I've done that on the horizon because I'm going to put some trees in front of those. So I'm doing this and I'm looking at that top right hand bit of cloud and not liking it at all. But I have to let it dry, you see. You must have it dry before you, unless you're going to take it out completely. So I'm starting to put in the some pine trees, and I'm using a fan brush, this, and a very dark olive green, and I mix the dark olive green with ultramarine blue, yellow, and black, and it's made a rather nice colour for a pine tree. You know, it's nice to change the shapes of trees. You can have some deciduous trees, you know, like oak and elm, and then have some pine trees as well, just to change it up a little bit. So I'm putting in some sort of hedge row in front of those pine trees at the moment because I'm going to I want to put a hedge, not a hedge, but a fence in front of it, and I want it to be light, so I need a dark background for that. Popping in another little pine tree there, a little small one, because I want that to, I want my cottage, and I put my cottage in to sort of um, go against that pine tree there. And I'm just putting the pine trees on one side, you'll see, for the interest. Starting to look like a landscape now, isn't it? And you've got your trees and you've got your sky, the beginnings of anyway, because you know, I'll probably change, um, definitely change that sky, but that's okay. And I've got those nice trees in the foreground. There's my fan brush that I used on the pine trees. They're really easy to do with a fan brush. Um, have a go at it. And you'll see. Oh, now I'm going to change this. Now I'm going to put in some highlights in the cloud, and I change it around a bit. I no, I'm going to put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out. You'll see in a minute. But eventually, I'll end up with something that I like. Yeah, I'm sorry that I have to speed up these paintings, but my paintings take a long time to do. So, you know, we'd be here all day, especially if I fiddle with them a lot. So I have to speed them up. So I have to do, you know, I have to talk over. Whereas the beginning of the, when I'm not speeding it up, I'm talking as I'm going. But anyway, so I'm rubbing, you can see what I'm doing at all times. I'm rubbing that out with a damp cloth. I'm putting in a little bit of paint with a damp cloth too. You can do that. You can do that. You can do these clouds with a damp cloth or a sponge. That's a nice effect. Um, but I like a brush. So that's another thing. You might find that you get really good results from using a sponge on those clouds or a damp cloth or something. You might get lovely effects. Um, anyway, perhaps you could try it. You could try it sometime, but I always use a brush. So I've decided that the yellow wasn't yellow enough. It had gone sort of a bit too pale. So I want that yellow to shine through. So I can go over that, you see, no problem. Keep it jagged. There's no straight lines in nature, not really. Not many, anyway. You know, people do trees and they're not straight, they're never straight. But anyway, there we are. So I'm putting in this yellow, letting the sky dry so that I can go back to it and try and do a decent job on the clouds. And this yellow is going to act as a nice background for my plants and grasses that I'm going to do. So I'm starting to put on a little bit more of the darker green in the foreground, bits black and things, and I'm scratching into that yellow, you see, to make the stalks of the grasses randomly and not straight like. And then I'm using a fan brush to just put in little bits of colour to represent the seed heads and interest in the grasses. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. I'm not going to alter those trees, I don't think, on the horizon there. I'll probably alter the sky a little bit, but not really the trees. So I'm just starting on the little cottage now, um, on the horizon by the trees there. And it's going to be a little Cornish cottage. It's going to be white, and Cornish cottages are really beautiful, and they're whitewashed cottages, sometimes with a thatched roof. Um, and I live in a lovely Cornish cottage. It's whitewashed and it's very, very old. And it resembles this one a little bit, but except that our cottage has been built on at the back. Over the years, it's had lots of rooms built on, so it's quite a big cottage actually. It looks small when you drive into the drive and see it at the front. Then it goes back a long way. So these cottages are usually built of stone or what they call cob, which is straw and mud. Very thick walls, usually about, I don't know, 3 foot thick, the walls, and they're still standing and they're hundreds and hundreds of years old. So, So anyway, we're getting a little cottage, and this painting is going to be called The House on Love Lane, because this that I painted here is Love Lane, and we've got just down the road from me, we've got a little lane that's called Love Lane, and it's really beautiful. And this is what it looks like. Except there are houses all the way, well, old houses all the way along Love Lane. But what a beautiful name, isn't it? So I decided the chimney was too big, so I had to get rid of it, as you can see, and paint in a different, which is makes the painting look more cohesive. I think if you decide to do a landscape like this, some very adventurous for you, but you can simplify it. You know, don't put as many trees in, just put two, three trees in there. Don't do the sky as elaborate. You can just use this painting as a template. Don't do the foreground as elaborate. And just start, especially if you're a beginner, just start off slowly, and you don't be disappointed. Don't disappoint yourself that you've got to reach. You know, you've got to uh, do the painting exactly as I have, and you don't. You can just do it. You can simplify it. So we've got our little white cottage there, and it looks very cute, very nice. Yes, I don't want you to get overwhelmed, you see. If you're a painter and you're going to, or a beginner, or you're going to have a go at this, I don't want you to be overwhelmed by it. You don't have to do it like this. You can build up to it. You can simplify the whole thing, the entire thing. Have a little bit of cloud, have two or three trees, practice doing the trees, practice doing your trees like I've got on the right hand side, like the deciduous type of tree, and then you can practice doing your, your pine trees, and then leave out the cottage, leave out the grasses, just practice the trees and the sky and that kind of thing. And then next time, add the cottage, and then the time after that, add the grasses, and that's the way to do it. Definitely the way to do it. Otherwise, you'll get overwhelmed. You think, I can't do this. I'm not going to bother. And, but that's not the way to do it. Just, you'd be really happy if you just produce something, a nice little landscape that you're happy with. So I'm just starting to put in some impressions of fencing um, along that back hedge there. And I've just put in some, obviously I put white against the dark, and I didn't draw a line, I just put my fingernail through it, and look, and just to give an impression, because from that distance you wouldn't really see a wire or, a fence as such, a fence line. So you would see the actual upright, but you wouldn't see a wire or something that was going along. So I just put my fingernail across it just to give an indication. Yeah, that's looking okay. And this is what impressionism is all about. It's an impression. It gives it, it's soft and it's loose and it's just an impression. It's not meant to be realism. It's, if you want realism, take a photograph in my, that's the way I feel. This is soft and loose and um, a sort of romantic view of a landscape. That's the way I see it anyway. And some people Some people like it, and other people want realism, or they want real abstract or semi-abstract or something. And you see, I keep going back to that cottage and just adding a little bit of white over the white just to make it stand out, really. So I'm putting in now some old fence posts in the foreground, and I want them to look all sort of broken down and old and dilapidated. And instead of using paint, I'll use a pencil to put in, broken down barbed wire or whatever it is, wire that's attached to the fence. I think it looks more natural if you do something like that. Use pencil. Looks pretty good. So there's something not really sitting very well with me in that sky, and I need to change it. It's not good. So it's nice and dry, so I can change it now. And just completely change the cloud formation. So as I keep saying, these paintings, they evolve. You could change them. You realise, you stand back and you realise that it doesn't look how you want it to look. And I'm sure, all painters do this, and I'm sure the old masters like Constable and Turner, they probably painted over and over and over their paintings. Who knows? You only know when they're x-rayed. So don't be disheartened if something looks wrong, just let it dry and go over it. And just add a few more little colours to the grasses. You can use a sponge for this to gives you a nice little effect. And you can use a sponge for anything. If you wanted to start trying to use a sponge for the skies, to do skies and clouds and things, you can do that. You can, might work out really good for you. I use brushes, but for skies, but you might try it. You might find that you get wonderful skies with using these natural sponges, and they give a lovely soft effect. So I'm at the end of the painting now. I've really enjoyed doing the painting for you, and I hope you'll have a go at it. Those of you who paint, and I'd love to know how you got on with it. If you could, you might not be able to send me a picture of your work, but you could certainly tell me, how you've got on with it and how you found it. And I'm going to say, oh, I mustn't forget, if you like the video, if you could give me a thumbs up if possible, and I'd be delighted if you decided to subscribe to my channel so that you can see more of my work in future. And you could also let me know what you would like me to paint, seascapes, landscapes, whatever. And so with that, I'll say bye for now. And as always, love from Cornwall.